Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. I'm going to break down the Thursday night football game this week between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to look at a single game showdown right here on DraftKings for week 11. God, I can't believe the season's going by as fast as the season's going by. You guys have been tuning in since week 1. I appreciate you guys with the support and the growth that you have helped me achieve on this YouTube channel. It's all because of you guys. And I'm getting feedback in Discord and during the streams where we record these live on Twitch, where you guys are really seeing a massive improvement in your game, not just on these showdown slates, but in NBA, in NFL. So kudos to you and thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'd love to see you again. Please click that subscribe button and ring the notifications bell so that you can be notified anytime that I publish new NFL or NBA content on this channel. And please, if you would be so kind, drop a like on this video before you leave. You know, kind of a thank you for the content is all that I ask. So let's just get to the slate. Let's kind of take a look at all these different players and plays that we have this Thursday night. At captain, generally speaking, we want to put our highest projected guys in captain, especially in cash if you're playing head-to-head. Now, generally speaking with these two teams, that's going to be Aaron Rodgers and Russ Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, though, the last few weeks has not seen an explosion, but he's been very consistent, right? He's had 2 games where he really went bonkers against San Francisco and against Detroit, but then in the game against the Rams, where they put up a bunch of points, didn't really go nuts. Against New England, didn't really go nuts. Against Miami, didn't really go nuts, though he did throw for multiple touchdowns in 2 of those last 3. We need Aaron Rodgers to throw for 300 yards. We really do. If we're going to pay up for him. If you think that he's going to get to 300 yards in this game, he is my highest raw projected guy. But at 19-2 at captain, it becomes a little bit restrictive. You're going to have to find some massive value to kind of fit him in there. I don't hate it if you want. Russ Wilson, let's just say it. Even though the volume's way down, he's been way good, right? Very consistent, throwing multiple touchdowns in, every game except 1 this year, which is where he was in previous years. We've seen the last few weeks that his rushing numbers have gone up. Early in the season, wasn't really taking much initiative with his legs. But the last few weeks, the last month, in fact, 6 rushes, 2 rushes, 5 rushes, 9 rushes. That's always going to improve his floor. Has not ran for a touchdown. That's not really what he does, right? But like just the fact that he had 92 yards on the ground last week against the Rams. I don't see that repeating itself. But let's say that, between 25 and 45, that starts him out with 2.5 to 4.5 fantasy points. That boosts his floor. It also helps him get to a ceiling. We've known that Russ Wilson's been the sort of a guy who has had big second halves of the year, pretty much every year. I don't know how much bigger his touchdown production can get, because based on the volume, he's been quite efficient. Now, against teams like the Rams, you would expect him to throw it more. He didn't. Against teams like the Chargers, you would expect him to have to throw it more. He did. Against Detroit, Oakland, won't have to. The fact that he really only threw the ball 47 times in 2 games against the Rams is surprising. And they were still able to compete in both games, right? 31 points, 31 points. Only threw it 47 times. They are committed to running the football. Now, Chris Carson was out on Sunday. He may have been completely injured. It may have been a situation, we'll find out throughout this week, where a player gets injured and they know planning-wise that they have a Thursday night game. So if he was like, let's say he's 80%, they could have maybe, I don't know if they could have or not. I'm saying generally speaking. Teams will rest a player knowing that they have a Thursday night game coming when they're dinged. So we're going to have to monitor if he's available. If he's not, obviously Mike Davis and Penny become much better, greater plays. But Russ Wilson priced up right underneath Aaron Rodgers for captain. Davante Adams, I never have a problem going with the number 1 target for Aaron Rodgers. His wide receiver 1 pretty much has gotten 12 touchdowns. Most seasons, you can see that Davante Adams right on pace for that with 9. Last week, MVS was the undeniable chalk. Everybody wanted him. I said that the pivot play was to get to Davante Adams. It was also to get to Aaron Jones, who we'll talk about in a second. Two more touchdowns against Miami. Seattle been tougher than we thought that they would be with the injuries and the losses in their defensive backfield. Been tougher against the pass than we thought that they would be, but Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers provides a different type of pressure on a defensive backfield. Aaron Jones, to me, looks like the best choice for captain. Now, don't be fooled. I love Aaron Jones's talent. I don't love the volume. Okay? I don't. He didn't get that much more volume than he got before. 12 carries, 2 targets. 14 carries, 2 targets. 15 carries, 3 targets. He averaged 9.7 yards per rush last week. He absolutely went ham, especially considering that 67-yarder that he busted off. Now, if you're going to say, I expect Aaron Jones to do this, I think he has the talent to do that. I don't agree that he's got the opportunity on a week-in, week-out basis to do that. So that's my only drawback to Aaron Jones. Love his talent. Wish that he could get 18 to 23 touches on a weekly basis for the Packers. He definitely outsnapped Williams last week. It seems that he is taking hold of this job. Again, I just want him to get the lion's share of the work. He did. I know I'm looking at catches, not targets. Like, he's just not getting that sort of work. You know, it's been similar. 5, 4, 2, 3, 1, 1. He's taken over the primary role, and Aaron Rodgers is going to check down from time to time. But, like, I'm not expecting 6 catches. I'm not expecting 6 to 8 targets. I'm not expecting 20 carries. But with the value that we get here coming down to 13.5 from this, and the expectation on points from all 3 of those players, I think that Aaron Jones is a better point per dollar play in the captain spot than either Russ Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, though I will have shares of both at captain in tournaments. Tyler Lockett, very low volume, very hit or miss. If he catches a long touchdown, which he's done a whole lot this season, then he can pay off for you. But again, at 8K, sorry, at where is it? At 12K versus 13.5, I vastly prefer Aaron Jones. To me, he's the best captain. Here we have the backup quarterback slots, right? And then it drops down to the other guys. So I'm just going to start with this. I'm going to start with Aaron Jones and captain. As I said, if Carson is out, he was limited at Monday's walkthrough. Didn't say much Monday. Never trust Pete Carroll, right? There's certain coaches you can trust. There's certain coaches you can't trust. Just don't ever trust him. Mike Davis, if he's out, becomes a really solid play again because of his work in the pass game. Again, not going to get 20 carries, but he should be very active in the pass game. He's going to be extremely popular in this slate. So if we lock Aaron Jones in, okay, and we get both quarterbacks, that leaves us with 3.8K remaining. We need a super duper value play. Depending on whether or not both wide receivers, Cobb and Allison, are still out, St. Brown becomes a viable play for me at 2.4K. He's not great, but in terms of snaps and routes run, he becomes a little bit more viable at a super low price. The Packers defense becomes a lot more viable because of their ability, not with those guys, becomes a lot more viable because of the matchup, because Seattle allows so much pressure into their backfield and Russ Wilson takes so many sacks that you have massive upside for 2,600 where you don't always have that. The greatest predictor of touchdown scoring for a defense is the ability to pressure a passer. Okay? So at 2,600, I don't mind them. Not getting a ton of looks, right? At least not consistently. Let's settle on 4 targets here for Nick Vannett, right? But at 1.8K, I don't hate it. Source of value there. Nobody else really down here that I want. Obviously, Allison and I are, but Cobb was the one that I was talking about if he's out. non-participant on Monday. Monitor this on, I'm recording this on Tuesday morning. Monitor this through Tuesday's practice. Wednesday's a travel day for them. And obviously we'll have inactives 90 minutes before the game starts on Thursday night. So monitor Randall Cobb throughout the week if you're planning on playing Equanimous, or if you're looking to get MVS back into your lineups this week. This is what I warned about last time. That 7 yards per catch average, he moved into the slot when Randall Cobb was out. That was going to kind of limit the things that he could do. They're not going to get him down the field, and that's been the most attractive thing to me about the snaps and the routes and the targets that MVS has been getting, is that when he lines up on the outside when Cobb is there manning the slot, now you have MVS with a ridiculously high ADOT, average depth of target, meaning that he's going to get an amount of good looks, and he's also going to get you upside looks because of how much they target him downfield. So let's kind of try and finish off this lineup. Let's see if we can finish this lineup. If we go with Vanett here, 4,800 left. If we go with the Packers defense, that leaves us 7,100 right up against the 72 would have gotten us Baldwin. Although Baldwin's not really having, not as involved as he used to be, especially with all the touchdown passes that they've gotten. More a low target guy who's been getting a bunch of touchdowns. Lockett, probably the best receiver right now, but at 8,000, can't afford him, can't afford MVS. Then we have the gap here, getting us down to the next set of players. One target for Jimmy Graham. Inconsistent targets for tight ends has been a staple of what happens in Aaron Rodgers-led offenses. If we come off this, that gives us 4,700. We can get up to maybe David Moore. Can't really afford Penny, who had a monster game, by the way. Just, you spend a first-round draft pick on this kid, and you don't play him. Even with your other running back, I don't know. He's good. He needs to be on the field more. Jimmy Graham revenge game. Going with the revenge game narrative. Is it revenge, though, for Jimmy Graham in that situation? Like, would that actually be revenge? Because, didn't he get treated pretty well? Weren't they pretty happy with each other? So you got Carson, you got Penny, you got David Moore, Seabass. Let's try a different captain. Let's go with Aaron Rodgers and captain, see what we can build with that. A lot of different routes that you can go on this week's Thursday night. So we go with him. Let's go with the entire Packers offense. Okay. Now we got 3,300 remaining. Now we got to get some cheapies. We got to go here. We got to go here. That leaves us 5,600. Jimmy Graham, you can go with the entire offense. You can go with Mike Davis if you want. I think that's kind of a solid build. I don't hate the quarterback captain this week. And you're kind of attacking, if you think that they're going to go off, you can get there on volume. You can pay off this salary on volume. You can pay off this salary on volume. You're worried not about scoring against the Packers. You're worried about, is the Packers defense going to score? If you're comfortable flopping Dixon for Vanett, you can get Baldwin. Interesting. I don't know that I really want to attack Baldwin, but I'm going to have some shares. Not sure if you trust Pete, but he said expected Carson to be back. That's kind of what I was talking about early. They don't send MVS downfield from the slot. Not as much as they do on the outside. His average depth or target last weekend playing the majority of his snaps from the slot was way down from what it is when he plays on the outside. It's just a different route. It's a different route tree that they run in that offense from the slot. MVS captain, you can fit both QBs and Jones. All right, let's try it. So if we throw MVS into the captain spot, why not throw Lockett into the captain spot then? You said you could fit both QBs. Aaron Jones, 2,100. Vanett seems to be the key on this slate. Packers are 26. See, now we got to make a decision. Whether it's going to be Equanimous, whether it's going to be Ed Dixon, Kendricks. Dixon doesn't get a lot of volume. Kendricks doesn't get a lot of volume. Procise gets no volume. I think that's a more awkward build than the quarterback build or the Jones build. You don't want to play them, but the Seattle's pass game is going to be low owned. Yeah, I mean, look, you can go with Wilson. You can go with Lockett. You can go with Baldwin, even though I'm not in love with Baldwin. Here, assuming Carson's out, which is a bad assumption, but let's just say it. Because either way, Mike Davis or Carson, right? They're the same price. So you go there. Now you have 2,500. Now you can find the one guy, right? There's a lot of different routes to go. I don't hate this slate. It looks like a fun Thursday night showdown slate. If you want to build a kicker lineup, you can. Obviously, the higher upside plays are to go with position players. Defenses, you want touchdowns as much as you can possibly get them. Defenses have a lower upside, a lower ceiling than the position players who can get there on catches and yards and obviously getting themselves into the end zone. If you think this game is going to be high scoring, you can stack it from one side, stack it from the other. You can play a mix of both. The pricing looks not soft, but at least complementary, right? You can get the different lineups that you want. It's a great GPP slate. It's a good cash game slate if you're playing head-to-heads. I appreciate you guys being here once again. Please click that like button before you leave. Here's here's a sub button. Here's another video for you to check out, and I'll catch up to you next time. Thanks for joining, guys. Bye.